So, guys, first of all, my sincere apologies. Late while we were supposed to start at 15 sharp. So, apologies, but I think some technical features we've fixed them. So, my name is Srinivasan Narayan. I am the founder of What Plus, the platform that is organizing this event today. So, I'll briefly talk about What Plus, the platform, the data science community that we have built. Uh, I'll gladly take 5 to 10 minutes of your time. And then I'll hand it over to the speaker, Punita, who's transitioned her career to data science. And she's the head of data science at Identify. So I think she will be talking about how one can plan and fashion his or her career in the entire data science story, the actual core of the topic. But before I even jump into my presentation, part of the presentation, I just want a quick show of hands. How many of you are actually registered on What Plus, are aware of it? The lady that, how did you get to know about this event?
So I was just forwarded to him, and that's how I know. Now I am.
Thank you very much. And how many of you all basically are part of the data science community on What Plus itself? The show of hands. So for others, how did you get to know about the event then? Email or meetup or something? Yeah, on the meetup. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot. For those who are actually part of the community, I'll tell you, the advantages of being in the community and what you plan to do subsequently. For those who are not part of the community, I think the majority of the people out here, I will, if you can actually, sit with this part of the presentation because we are one of the fastest growing communities globally in the data science domain. So I want you guys to tell me, right? So even if so, let me just throw a couple of questions out at you. One is, if I talk about a social network for seasoned professionals, which kind of site or platform comes to your mind? LinkedIn, right? Facebook, not really professional. But yeah, as the majority of people here say LinkedIn, right? If I ask you, which is the kind of social network or platform that comes to your mind when we talk about startups specifically? Any calls on that? AngelList. AngelList, right? Who's the one who said AngelList? AngelList, right? So you have something for seasoned professionals, which is LinkedIn, by far, the leader in this space. For startups, AngelList is something that has carved a wonderful niche for itself. Now, if I ask you a subsequent question, right? Which is that one consolidated platform for people who are looking to upskill themselves, a social network or a platform where people are looking to upskill themselves, or people are looking to learn more about a particular, niche domain. Is there any specific platform that comes to your mind for aspirants, for people looking to hone their skills?
Coursera,
Yeah, Coursera is great, right? But Coursera is not a social network. Coursera is a place where you can actually take courses.
Typically, the groups in Facebook or LinkedIn. It's typically the groups in
Facebook or LinkedIn, right? So a subset of Facebook or LinkedIn, right? Any other options for data? For data science, that is Kaggle, right? Awesome. But Kaggle specifically delves into data science only, right? Let's say for product management or digital marketing, if I want to become a digital marketer, if I want to become a product manager, or if I want to become a blockchain enthusiast, there one single platform that kind of helps me upskill myself, or kind of helps me understand the domain well, or understand how I can fashion my career in that domain. Right. So that is where we actually come in. So as I mentioned, LinkedIn is for seasoned middle management and top management professionals. AngelList is for startup professionals. But if you have to look at one consolidated platform for aspirants or people who are looking to upskill themselves, it is tough to come up with a single answer, right? An answer that would be agreed upon by the majority. And that's what What Plus is trying to do in a nutshell, right? We are basically trying to build a network, a social network, a platform for all the aspirants, right, in the world. And that's how we've started. So we started with the product management community, and now we've actually started a data science community. And this offline event is also, kind of tied to that big vision of ours. Helping people upskill themselves, helping people understand a niche domain better, helping people understand how they can plan and fashion their career in that particular domain, be it data science, be it product management, be it digital marketing, so on and so forth. So what's the problem we are trying to solve, right? One is there is a definite need for rich and quick professional discussions. So definite need for rich and professional quick discussions. The huge need for rich, quick, and spam-free, professional discussions amongst aspirants or professionals with similar interest in trusted niche communities. Which, as the gentleman here rightly said, currently because there is no specific platform for that, people actually fall back on LinkedIn groups or Facebook groups. Now, all of us know that LinkedIn groups won't work, right? And Facebook is trying to solve a lot of other things, right? I mean, I get to see the best cat pics on Facebook. I get to see some of the best honeymoon pics of my friends on Facebook. That's definitely not the kind of place I would like to go, right? Or that's not the kind of place that is on the top of my mind when I'm looking to, upskill myself or looking to understand more about the domain that I'm working. So that's where we come in. Rich and quick professional discussions. Mobile as a medium for professional communication, right? I mean, when LinkedIn was formed or when AngelList was formed, web was the order of the day, right? Not mobile. And we all if we all look back at how our behaviors have changed, we all understand one thing that we have all become mobile first today, right? And that itself, that paradigm of thinking itself requires a lot of good features to be built specifically on mobile. With something like a LinkedIn or something or a Facebook probably is doing, but is slightly late in the game because they started when web was the order of the day. We started with our mobile app first, and that's how we have gained most traction. And now we also have a website for people who want to actually read long form content that we produce, not necessarily on the mobile, but also on the laptop. So mobile is order of the day, and it is the best medium of communication because it leads to highest level of user engagement. Platform for candidates to upskill. I have already spoken about this. We all know that there is no efficient platform today that helps candidates to upskill themselves efficiently, right? When I threw that question out to the audience here, a lot of you were actually kind of fumbling with regards to which should be the right platform, right? So that's where we kind of come in. So basically, those are the three tenets on which Quad Plus as a tech platform has been built, right? For rich, quick, and professional discussions, to ensure that mobile acts as the best medium for professional communication, and most importantly, provide all users a standard platform so that they can actually interact with like-minded professionals. They can basically exchange useful information in that particular domain, and they can help each other upskill themselves. As I said, Quad Plus a trusted set of enriched professional communities for interaction, rich discussions. You can search and explore profiles of people, and there are contextual notifications to prevent spam on the platform. So we launched with the product management community around 2 years back. It is the largest community today. It is the largest, arguably the largest community for product managers in India today, and one of the largest globally with 10,000 plus members, right? And the posts include news, articles, queries, discussions, anything and everything related to product management as a discipline. And once the product management community actually, kind of took off, we saw that a lot of the members in the community wanted to have or that explicit interest to start a community for data science. We all understand that data science is going to basically become a very important domain in due course of time. And all of us are basically trying to wrap our heads to understand, what this whole domain is all about. How can I shape and, kind of fashion my career in this domain? How can I actually basically kind of be part of the rising tide early so that I can actually reap richer benefits in my career? So with that thought in mind, we actually started our data science community. It is the largest, fastest growing community for data science enthusiasts today. It's just been slightly over a month since we launched, and we already have close to, if I'm not mistaken, 5,000 members, and all of them have actually been organic acquisitions. We don't throw money on digital marketing to get users. And as I said, posts include career-related queries, mentorship offerings, latest updates around what is happening in the data science domain, as well as knowledge exchange amongst peers. Our app on the Android Play Store has close to 5-star rating, I think 4.8 plus, and these are some of the reviews that are there on the App Store. Now, why should you join the data science community on Cohort Plus, right? I'm sure that is the question that is coming into the minds of most of the people out here. And I wanted to take a few minutes into that before I close my presentation. One is to keep yourself updated. Basically, anything and everything that is happening in the data science domain gets updated on the platform. That is the power of the community. Because all the people in the community want to exchange knowledge, want to express themselves, want to actually ensure that everybody in the community grows together. And therefore, any and every kind of development that happens in the data science domain gets updated on the platform. So that's the first place that you can actually go to kind of keep yourself abreast. You get an informed opinion about any development through members of the community. So think of it as a Q&A platform where you can actually ask questions. And I can assure you that the community has grown so much today that the turnaround time for any question to get answered correctly and efficiently is close to maximum 24 hours. Most of the queries get answered in a couple of hours itself, right? Finally, you can discuss, debate, and widen your horizon of thinking. That's what communities at large offer around the world, and we are notified. There are exclusive case studies, books, and reports. So we have exclusive tie-ups with a lot of data science firms, both in India as well as abroad. We ourselves we have also tied up with that here. So we get exclusive access to case studies, reports, and many kind of premium articles that we share for free on the platform for our community members. And this is just one such example. The snapshot here of Vidit Kumar sharing a book on statistic learning and AI. Right? So you get exclusive access to all this material for free if you are actually part of the platform. And as I said, these could be interview questions, these could be data sets, these could be anything around recent developments, top articles. We built an entire feature called a toolkit, which is known as the data science toolkit, which is the most I would say popular feature on our platform, which encompasses everything, right? So it's a ready reckoner for you. It's like an online repository. You can actually go there. You can look at all the case studies, the books, the reports, and anything and everything related to data science out there in a structured fashion. And most of them are actually premium, kind of contributions. So while outside you would get it for a certain fee, on the platform it is free. Mentorship and career help. I mean, this offline event falls under that umbrella, but that's just one example. But there are a lot of instances that people have actually posted queries around that, how to shape the data science career. And because the community has seasoned professionals as well as aspirants, seasoned professionals actually come in, chip in, and help the aspirants understand the data science as a domain, help them actually structure their career, review their CVs, help them understand how to crack interviews, so on and so forth. So mentorship as a function is something that we take very seriously because this is a community for aspirants, and it is something that is thriving on the platform online also. Jobs and application status. I mean, a lot of professional communities complete without jobs. So we also, kind of post jobs from time to time. The one good thing that we do about jobs is if you actually post a job, then we have a premium feature that you get to know the status and feedback of your job application. And that's if you actually refer a couple of candidates onto the platform, and if they also apply for a job, then this kind of feature gets unlocked for all three of you. So in summary, if you're an aspiring data scientist, join the Cohort Plus platform to get mentorship and guidance from seasoned folks, to understand how you can transition your career into data science and learn the various aspects of data science. And it helps you break the mystique around data science as a domain and understand how a career in data science can pan out. If you're a seasoned data scientist, you get to interact with like-minded data science professionals and be part of spam-free discussions. You can keep yourself updated with the latest happenings, and you get your queries answered in less than 24 hours. Something that I mentioned. So that's my presentation. You can actually check out Cohort Plus on the Play Store. For the top rated apps in the data science and product management domain, or you can actually register on our website, scoreplus.com. I'll just take a minute. I kind of breezed through my presentation because I didn't want to hog the limelight here. But any questions about this part of the presentation, this part of the talk, I'm happy to, kind of answer any questions.
Okay, only for Android.
So we don't have an iOS app right now. The app is only on Android, but we have a full-fledged website, which is mobile friendly.
What is the differentiate from Kaggle?
So excellent question. I think Kaggle is a wonderful platform for seasoned professionals to rate yourself, to rank yourself and stuff. But probably, Kaggle kind of looks at the higher end of the spectrum. By that I mean people who are slightly more skilled in data science domain, who are slightly more seasoned, who want to basically, kind of establish their prominence in data science globally, right? So it's at the higher end of the spectrum as far as the target group is concerned. We look at the slightly lower end of the spectrum, where we kind of, because we are an upskilling platform, we kind of target people who are interested in data science as a concept, but who have not yet actually, kind of gotten their hands really dirty, right? So that's one. The second thing is basically, I don't think, if I'm not, there are certain features that we have on the platform that I think kind of helps us stand out, like the toolkit itself. And there are a bunch of other features that we're going to build. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's how I would kind of position our platform using Kaggle.
Thank you.
Cool. I'll hand it over to Punita, and she will actually take this over. But before I actually do that, I want to give a small brief introduction about her. So Punita is heading the data science vertical at Healthify for like more than 2 years now, right? If you haven't checked Healthify app, please do it. I use it personally. Before that, she basically worked with ZS Associates as an analytics consultant. She's done a BTech from IIT Delhi, and then she did an MBA from ISB. She knows all the nuts and bolts of data science, so even if I have doubts, I actually keep messaging her. She's probably one of the best persons to kind of look up to and kind of seek help from as far as data science as a domain and data science as a career is concerned. So that's why I actually requested her to come here and give a talk. She's also active on the WordPress platform. So yeah, without further ado, I'll ask her to come over and talk about the topic of the day.
Okay. I'm not really aware of the experience of the since it's like a career conversation. Very conversational. This is not a yarn presentation, so I will keep it very open. If you have any questions, please keep asking me. Otherwise, we'll take it up after the session.
Can you be a little louder?
I'll be louder. Okay, you change it for me. Yes. So let's get the elephant out of the room. At least let's try and define what we are really calling data science here as part of the presentation, and then figure out how to switch to this kind of career. Now, different people, data science, since it's a relatively newer term, there's just all kinds of things that people understand in terms of what data science really is. How's it related to analytics? How's it related to engineering? Where does it really fall? Can you be a data scientist and a business analyst? What does it really mean? It's a fairly, if you're really ready to be a true data scientist, you have to have multiple skill sets. It's a very multidisciplinary session as such. It's literally three things. One is you need to have math and stat skills, you need to have programming skills, and you need to have domain expertise. When I say domain expertise, you need to have business understanding of what you're trying to do. And when these three things come together, you maybe can say, okay, you're trying to do data science. However, surprise, surprise, the path of data science is fairly ill-defined. There's no real one short way of transitioning into a data science career. It's just not, right? Because it is so multidisciplinary, calls for so many different skill sets. Depending on where you're coming from and where you're going to, your path will be very different. data science itself is very differently practiced in different companies. A data scientist at maybe Healthify Me or a data scientist at LinkedIn or at Flipkart or Myntra are probably doing very, very different jobs. They might have some very basic skills, but at day-on-day level, their jobs are very different. And since what you're doing is very different, and where you're coming from, you're very different, the path is pretty different, right? So you have to kind of work into how it will, impact all of you. Now, in terms of still trying to define what you're going to be doing as part of data science, there are literally two types of data science. One is what is commonly called as type A data science, where you are using data science to come up with recommendations of business decisions which is literally the people side of data science. Where you say, I use data science to understand why this is happening and then apply that learning to business. The other part is the type B. So this is a very popular nomenclature. Type B of data science, where you're saying there is data science for software. A is data science for people to take decisions. B is data science for software, which is, I'll give you examples, like Amazon has recommendation systems, everybody knows, right? That is data science for software, where the software is deciding, right? You program the software to decide based on rules what will happen next, right? So you have to understand whether you're okay with whether you want to do both, you're qualified to do both, or you're more inclined towards one or the other. But there's a distinct difference in both practices. Data science for people, type A, and for software, type B. So, does everybody have a fair understanding, like some basic understanding of what data science is? If you do, let's go to what skills would you need. I will go into how you can get there. But what are the skills that somebody needs if they want to be a data scientist? Now, this is I actually use this almost every week with anybody I interview or even in my team. Because it's so technical, it's such an intense and maybe slightly esoteric profession even now. People get very confused and they kind of over-index on engineering and the machine learning and the tools. What do I do? Where do I go? They just don't pay attention to the single most important part of being a data scientist, which is problem solving. If you don't have it, there's no way you can do anything as far as being a data scientist goes. I've seen people who are very good programmers, understand basics of machine learning, but are shitty data scientists because they can't problem solve. What is problem solving? If I give you a simple example, if I tell you, okay, everybody's coming to there are people coming to my app every day. Okay, tell me how do I analyze engagement, right? No, help me solve this. How do I look at engagement? You can't break it down in a structured fashion. You can't break it down as a problem. Then you just can't get it. Doesn't matter if you know how to code. Doesn't matter if you know machine learning, right? You need to know when to use averages, when to use geometric means, when to use arithmetic means. It's not that simple. Problem solving aptitude is the most important thing of being a data scientist. That's what people interview for. If you come to me for an interview, I can't test you your programming skills during a 1 hour conversation. What I can test you on is basic problem solving. And the next step would probably be, a programming assessment or whatever else. But this is like the path. I mean, this is the first thing. First, you have to be able to do. And obviously, the best way to develop problem solving aptitude is to do a lot of what you're trying to do. Just experience. You can't. Some of people are born with it, just natural problem solvers. If you think you're not, then you have to experience it. Just solve a lot of the problems that you're trying to solve. Now, outside of problem solving, these are the 5-6 things that you need to know if you want to become a data scientist. First one is, it's a no-brainer: math and statistical concepts, programming, machine learning, understanding of databases, visualization, and most important, to apply data science. If you're not going in for a PhD, if you apply data science, you have to actually work in a company, work as a commercial data scientist, understand business. Now, math and stats concepts, this is, I think, straightforward. You need to be able to understand basic statistical methods. You cannot, because most of machine learning is actually it's just very advanced stats. If you don't understand stats, you cannot really understand machine learning. You probably just use a package on Python and do it like this and never know what you really need. So that is the first thing. The next one is programming. Sorry. Yeah, you can. No, statistics is how do I define it? It's like it's very closely related to math, but statistics is a very different stream of profession altogether. For example, mean, median, mode, t-tests, p-tests, b-tests. What are they? Means, when you take population analytics, sample analytics. It's all within statistics. It's a branch of mathematics. Yeah, so it has nothing to do with databases at all. A lot of stats actually sit on very simple, small databases. You're asking me to define stats, it's a math field which is related to analyzing samples, right? Different metrics for sample populations. It has nothing to do with databases at all. Programming, again, you need to be able to do basic programming. You cannot prototype your algorithm. Basically means it's different from software engineering, of course. Programming is being able to, when I say programming, I mean you to prototype any algorithm that you are trying to build or test. Right? So you should be able to write code in Python or R or whatever else you are comfortable in or want to develop an experience. That's programming. Machine learning, again, you need to be aware of, so there aren't too many new machine learning concepts. A lot of the machine learning concepts or machine learning models that are used are fairly old. They're at least 10 to 15 years old. So a lot of data scientists are not really inventing new machine learning models. You can go by really well if you understand what different machine learning models do and where they're applied, and you should be able to apply them. But you should be aware of what the constraints and the power of different models. That's something that you obviously need. And then databases, right? Okay. The most important part of any data science project is data. You should be able to access it. To be able to access data, I think a lot of people just use different relational databases. You should know things like SQL or NoSQL. I think that should get you by most projects. Visualization is key. I think it's a very important part of any data science or even analytics, any data science project also. Where if you're not able to visualize initial data, do initial, how do I say it? Initial debugging of what is going on or what is going wrong, what is really happening, then you cannot do much. And there are plenty of visualization tools out there. You have tools within R, you can use Tableau or whatever. Business understanding, of course, understanding what the constraints or what is the business problem is key, right? If somebody has to explain and break it down for you, you will be less of a data scientist. You should be able to understand business, work really well with business, because as a data scientist, you will be working with a lot of people who don't understand data, or definitely don't understand data science or models, right? So you should be able to work with them to understand or grasp what the problem is, be able to distill what you can solve and what you cannot. So for that, you do need very good business acumen. And obviously, the open source evolution is the best thing to happen to data scientists, right? Everything is open source. You don't have to buy tools. Everything is out there for you to use and experiment with. So all of the above can be done through fairly open source. Of course, other than business understanding, can fairly be open source. Now, this is a question that often gets asked. Do I need to be a software engineer to be a data scientist? And again, it depends on what you're trying to do. I'm a biochemical engineer, I have nothing to do with software engineering, but I do pass masters fairly well. So, in what cases do you need to know software engineering? Is there anybody here who's software engineer? And everybody else not? Great. Good. So, you don't always need to know software engineering to be a data scientist. What cases do you need to know or need to know the basics of engineering or be a software engineer? One is you're trying to do type B. Data science, right? You're saying that data science for product. When you're building products, then obviously you need to be able to program them, right? So that's definitely type B. You just cannot pass by product data science without doing a software. Or you'll have to get a machine learning engineer to do this for you. If you're doing type A, then there are two ways that I've usually seen companies work. A lot of companies will have a data scientist who will do the prototyping or writing initial algorithm and testing it, and have somebody else productionalize the code, right? If you develop an algorithm, it has to be in production, right? So a lot of companies are okay with that model. A lot of companies are not. Where they say that whoever writes the algorithm who develops the model has to also personalize it. So you need to know where you are and what is what opportunity or what limitation resides in the company that you are working in, right? So in type B, or if you are fond of productionizing, obviously you need to know software engineering. Otherwise, you don't need to. What else do you need to know outside of these things? Let's just go to that. Data wrangling, this is something that you'll be prepared to do. Most of data science, I would say 85 to 90% of any data science project is just prepping of data. And it's the most difficult and it's grunt work, it's not glamorous, it's terrible and boring, and will probably just take 28 out of 30 days of your life of any project. So that is basically prepping data, cleaning it, figuring out that it's all well imputed, there are no gaps. So to be prepared to do this, data science is not all glamour or fun. This is the most important and actually the most boring part. 80 to 85 to 90% of data science is just doing prepping data. So to be prepared to do that. Tools, again, a lot of people keep asking, what tools do I need to know? And I keep saying one thing, that tools are immaterial. You need to be aware of what tools exist, but they're essentially immaterial. They just evolve every day. Every day there's a new tool to do something that you were doing manually or doing inefficiently earlier. There's new tools every day. So you maybe need to be aware of it, but knowing tools doesn't get you anything. Again, it comes back to problem solving and understanding the math behind what you do. It all comes to that. Tools are just not, it's not a barrier at all. You just need to be aware of any tools that you need and move on, right? The last thing, never underestimate communication. Again, data scientists don't kind of just work as like an isolated group that just never happens. Nobody will trust your model, nobody will use it, nobody will be able to benefit from it if you're not able to communicate what the model does. And communicate it well, right? Not only within business, but even in the interview. If you're actually trying to interview for data science job, if you're not able to communicate well and with clarity what the model is doing, or how do you think the model will help, what will be the drawbacks or the power of the model, you will not be able to do much. So you need all the core concepts of database accessing databases, writing basic code in Python or in R or whatever language, math skills, visualization skills, but most of all, you need all the other peripheral things. You need to be able to have patience to do data wrangling really well, data keeping really well. You need to be able to communicate really well, and you need to have the business acumen to be able to first break down the problem and then understand what you can or what you cannot solve. Any questions so far? So, how do you really start? How do you really start? Is there anybody who's already working as sort of a data scientist? Okay, what do you do, sir?
So I look for adequate for suggested order kind of project. So basically, we look at the patterns, the way products have been ordered, and we suggest and predict what kind of orders will be taken in the next month for the inventory management. Things like
What else can you describe in
that.
very quickly in like 2 lines? Communication. Yeah.
So we looked at a database table of orders done by any outlets in the Bangalore, and using that doing a tree all the random orders and among them, train and we try to predict what will be his next.
How do you start? How do you start?
How do I start?
Did you start recently working as a
8-9
data analyst? Great. So tell me how you feel about this. How do you really start working as a data scientist?
understanding the problem.
Yeah, I mean, like, but transitioning, what I mean, how to start, I mean, transitioning into a career on the side. So, this is next slide. I mean, this is, I think, what most people end up doing, right? Unfortunately, we still belong to a generation where there's no well-defined coursework. It's not coming out with degrees as data scientists. It's still new. So, everybody does this. You end up teaching yourself. Obviously, you have to teach yourself. And believe me, it's a pretty long haul. This is a fairly intensive field. There's no shortcuts here. So I think one of the key things that you have to really understand is what is your motivation for being a data scientist, right? What do you really want to do? Are you actually prepared to put in the time and the energy that is required to develop a multidisciplinary aptitude, right? So just never underestimate the kind of work that goes into becoming a data scientist. You can become an analyst, a great business analyst, a great BI person, maybe a super nice, super competent software engineer. But becoming a data scientist is just, you never underestimate what it takes. So while you can teach yourself, it does require the hours and the time. There's no real shortcut to becoming a data scientist. You need to develop fairly good understanding of all the concepts that I mentioned, right? So what are the ways to be able to do it? Now, if you're actually out in the market looking for a job, there are only two ways that people get hired as data scientists, or two ways to actually break in. One is you're probably doing something related. So working as an analyst, right, and you kind of start taking up data science projects within an existing job because you've been teaching yourself on the side. And that's what I see most people do. That's what I've done. I personally just did that because obviously it needs a lot of time, and not everybody, especially people who are in the middle of their career, want to take a break and teach themselves data science and come back in the job market. So I think that's one of the best ways to be able to do it. When you're already in a job which gives you some exposure or access to data or to problems that can be solved with data science, and you start taking them up. But if you're not, then there are two ways to be able to do it. One is if you're really young, or just passed out of college, or maybe are 1 or 2 years into the job market, a lot of companies hire people at the junior level. And that's as an entry-level data scientist, entry-level data scientist. And I think that's a great place to start. And they typically do it because they don't want to disturb the existing team, right? So they say, okay, I don't want to disturb the existing team, but I want more people on board. So let me hire junior people. It's the easiest thing to do. Easiest thing to do because you don't upset anybody, right? And you get raw talent. So that's one. So it's relatively easy for somebody who's really junior to get get into data science or anything which can later translate into a data science role. What is really difficult is that there's this big experience bias. If you are already working as at a mid managerial position and then finding a role as a data scientist in a company is really difficult because for everybody who's out there trying to be a data scientist, there's somebody definitely better than you, right? So it's something that you have to live with, right? Because again, it's such a heavily sought after role that unless and if you're already there and trying to say, okay, I'll have this lateral movement where I'll be working as maybe a marketing professional or a BI guy, and then I'll start moving into a role which offers me data science. I think it's a very tough one. But there are ways to be able to do this, right? So one is, yeah.
What do you expect from a junior data scientist?
When I say junior, I would mean 1 or 2 years, 1 year, 1 or 2 years of experience, maybe in a non-data science role, but in a fairly analytical role. So you need to obviously have good problem solving skills, understand math, and be a good analyst who is ready to learn, right? So you have to be extremely learning oriented and have proved it in some way or the other, and that's good enough. I would say that's good enough. And I've had people in the past who kind of come with almost zero data science experience and seen them go into really super nice, super smart data scientists. So that's it. Problem solving, math, some analytics background, and a proven ability to learn on your own. So I was coming to that, you could be able to highlight your skills really well. Either you've contributed on Git, or you've done some Kaggle competitions, or whatever else, right? That you need to prove, that you need to show to prove acumen or interest. Then I think that would be a good comment. Because again, everybody knows that everybody wants to do it. Let's be honest. So many people want to do data science. Actually, a lot of people take data science applications with a lot of skepticism. Because the field comes with so much glamour attached to it that mostly people go for only 2 things. You should have amazing, aside from hard skills, you should have amazing problem solving, and you should be able to put in the effort and the time. Right? Because it's something that you will always not see results in, something that you have to continuously upskill yourself in. I know that word is often in the last half an hour. But yeah, it's something to continuously be abreast of. You can't say, okay, I know the deal, and now I just do this. It changes every day. So if you don't have that kind of rigor where you're saying, no, every day I study what is new, what is happening, how do I do this? It changes over months, right? I mean, at least at Healthify I've seen we've used algorithms as late as those which have come out in July of this year. You cannot say, no, yeah, I've just never heard of this. This is the best way that I know. It just doesn't work. We should be able to read papers subsequently and be able to use latest research and do projects. And that requires rigor, it requires time and effort. There's no shying away from the grunt that you have to do. Just doing some courses will also not be. That's the hard fact. It is. So I go into it. The wrap. Okay, so this wrap up. So you do need motivation, but what I would say is if you're trying to really prep for it and you think, no, I'm really not anywhere close to developing skills that I probably need, what you need to do is first I would suggest stick to a few resources. There's just so much out there in the world when it comes to data science, it's mushrooming all over the place. Please stick to one or two resources and come through with it. Do real projects. Again, reading a book, doing an online course and make you feel like you know stuff. But when it comes to actual doing of a project, you know how difficult and how hard it is, right? And I repeat myself, unless you're looking for an academy, it's not an academic pursuit. If you're looking to do commercial level data science, you need to be able to do real world problems. Kaggle obviously is a great place to do it. I'm sure a lot of you have tried it. But do go through with stuff like that. Just reading books and doing online courses will get you a good start, but will not give you the skill that is really needed. The rigor that is really needed, the frustration that comes with it, right? So you need to be prepared for stuff like that. So attempt real problems. I think I said that before. Immerse yourself in the ecosystem. Again, because it's something that changes so often. Meet the people, read the papers, find mentors. You really need it. Because again, it's fairly new. Sorry. Oh yeah. Okay. Join. It's a shameless plug, but okay. Join cohort plus fine. So you definitely need that. I think again, out of all fields, data science is definitely one where you need to continuously keep abreast of information. And I was talking to somebody, and since this is more of a career talk, it really helps sometimes to know the right people. I mean, if you think that maybe you're not already there, you're not a data scientist in the making already. If you know somebody who trusts your ability and thinks that you're smart and can get you in on a team which is trying to do that, I think that's a great place to be. Right? So I would say try and see if there's anybody who thinks that you are a capable person who's trying to do this and can get you in on a team which is actually solving real data science problems. There's no substitute for real experience when it comes to it. And I've seen people do that. I personally, that's exactly been my journey, where I found somebody who trusted my ability and said, okay, why don't you do this? Most of the learning will come on the job. So you have to find a way to either enter as a junior, be lucky enough to get hired laterally, even if you are in a mid-management position, or know the right people who trust your ability and actually show that you can stick through something. Right? So definitely immersing yourself in the ecosystem is extremely important. Going to meetups, knowing the right people, keeping yourself abreast of information, participating in social media. A lot of people hire because again, it's everything is open source, right? So a lot of people look at what you've contributed on the web, whether it's through Git or blogs or whatever else, before they hire you. So I think it's very important to become active, one way or the other. So that also kind of just comes into promoting yourself better. If you will do that. That's it. Any questions?
So there are some courses abroad which use very specific things on data science.
Yes.
There are courses in Netherlands and some places in Europe. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, there are a lot of courses there. I mean, I think there's a course at IB also.
Not the general proper.
Yes. I think the data science courses at IB also are covered, and of course abroad. I think it's great, but again, it depends so much on where you are, right, in your life. If you are somewhere where you think you want to take a break and go back to school instead of doing an MBA, believe me, do this, right? But if you had a choice, I would always, and I've done it in the past, I personally, I might be biased. I would always go in for real experience than going to study. What any academic data sets or nothing can actually equate or come as close to a real life problem. So I would personally always say, again, I've seen two kinds of people. I've seen people who've done those 1-year courses in data science, not doing, as well as people who've really done real projects and know what works and what doesn't work. So I would be biased against doing courses and investing time and money into something that I would still say find a way to actually, if not freelance, then some way to work on real life project, and as many as you can, whether at work or outside.
How can someone do outside? Sorry,
Please go ahead.
so like if I want to do maybe by myself, not in the company, then how can I go about it? Because I don't have any data set.
Kaggle gives you, so if you start with Kaggle competitions, it depends again where you are. If you're just a beginner and you've taken up courses on all of these different, MOOC websites, you go to Coursera or whatever it is, you go to Campbell, Data Campbell, all give you data sets to work with. If you've become slightly more advanced, you can go to Kaggle and they do give you data sets that you can work with. But again, they're also compromised data sets, they're cleaner than you would ultimately see. Because they don't want you to invest, they don't want you investing time in data wrangling and cleaning. They want you to come to the algorithms. So, but that's the best way. And Kaggle people take very seriously, like Kaggle scores are taken very
seriously. So what business problem you're trying to solve in Amplify, apart from say monetizing? You have normal users, you have premium users.
Yes.
So
are you on the app, sir? You are.
I looked into it.
Okay. So we're trying to do different. So within Verify Me, there are 3 kinds of things that we do as part of the data science team. We have our regular BA/BI focus, which I think every company needs. We have our ML or more machine learning and model oriented field where again that's highly business focused. It's very conversion driven, very ops driven. How do you optimize operations? Again, for a very operations heavy company. How do you optimize operations? How do you optimize who you convert? And we have our AI arm, which again is kind of split into 2. So we have product AI, which is now outside data science, but we have product AI, where what I was describing is you have machine learning algorithms that help the product directly. And we have our NLP arm, which is basically just text parsing. So we have developed a virtual agent which responds to questions. So that's this natural language processing arm.
I'm working as a data analyst in Byju's. So I'm the only one in my team in the whole Byju's working as a data analyst.
Interesting to know.
Yeah.
You are only one analyst in Byju's.
Yeah. So I need to showcase my capabilities and then build a team.
Okay.
And I'm out of my I recently passed my certification and then joined Byju's. Okay. So they have lots of expectations on me. So I don't know whether I'm in the right place or I'm not sure how to come up to their expectations.
Sure. So again, depends on the company. I would strongly recommend every company, especially if you're the only analyst, and I would assume that their budget is in that at that level.
Yes.
Where you have to be able to evolve as a mature data science, data science focused company. So there's always version 1 of the company. Where if you're the only analyst, the most important thing, it's literally like a Maslow's triangle. What is the most important thing that you're trying to do? The most important thing that you're trying to do is make sure the data is flowing in. People have visibility of all metrics, which they can use for decision making if you are the analyst. Once you're able to do that, to identify 2-3 key areas which you know can be solved by data science or can be solved better by data science. And then say, okay, we need one more person with this level of experience to help us solve these 2 problems.
They're not ready to hire anyone. I mean, I need to showcase those
then
things.
do one yourself.
Okay.
But you have to go through that transition. There's just no way that you can actually say, oh, I want to do this data science project. Because by the way, not every data science project is successful. And it can take you months before you prove any impact. And that's a hard reality of data science, right? So either they have that confidence or that leverage where they say, okay, if you stop doing what you're doing, I'm okay with you investing a few months trying to do this. Because this is so important and I'm okay if it fails. If they are not giving you that leverage, I would say you should be able to come to a level where you're saying, okay, all metrics, visibility, and everything that you need to run daily operations is in place. Now, invest that time and say, okay, now they're at level 1, version 1, we're done. Now we need to be more mature. So tell me your most important problem. Let me break it down and I can attempt this and give them a fair timeline. So it again depends on the flexibility of the company or opportunity they offer. But if the whole onus is on you, I would suggest that you give them that basic comfort. They say, okay, you have what you need on a daily basis. Now let me attend this problem and show that.
After the this question, so where does this business intelligence, analytics, and all this end? And where does data science start? Because many of these things we've been doing for so many years. Like metrics, as you're saying, metrics we've been doing, for very many years. We've been tracking all the metrics, how with the data is flowing in, because the data gets consolidated, and then we keep reviewing metrics month on month. So that is just reviewing, right? We're just seeing what it is.
Right.
So if that is also part of data science. So where
again,
data
it's very
science
different. So different companies have very bespoke. The model is usually very customized to every company in terms of the kind of money and people they have and where they are from a business maturity standpoint. Now, if a company is fairly immature or just starting, like 1 or 2 years, or is a startup, you're constantly growing, trying new things, very good chance your BI thing will just never stop, or at least not stop anytime soon. Even if you're like 2-3 years old. So you will, if you're the only person, sorry, you'll have to do it for a bit, right? Or you have somebody junior. So it doesn't really stop, because again, I think underestimating what metrics to see and how, it's fairly underestimated. It's a very complex problem to know what metrics to see. However, if you're in a company where you know what the metrics are and what you need to track, then it's a systems problem, where either you productionalize how you see metrics and say, okay, some junior analyst can just monitor it, and we set up an alert system which will alert the right guys, and I don't need to overview on a daily basis, right? They're two totally different things. It's not like, I've done this, so now I'm doing this. If you've done this and you need more monitoring, you invest energy elsewhere. Problems are very different. It's not like I'm addressing the same problem using BI and now I'm addressing the same problem using machine learning. Not always. Mostly, you will have to continuously still track metrics that you're tracking and say, okay, either they are systems managed or you have some junior person looking at it. And now maybe somebody's expertise can solve tougher problems which need machine learning, which need a data scientific approach. Or you say, okay, sorry, metrics itself is such a big thing and there's nobody else. But again, how much big data should so again, it depends, right? If the company is dealing with, and depends again on the source of the company. A lot of companies who have big data, a data is at such volume that you need big data capability, will probably hire a data engineer who will work with data pipelines and make sure that data is available with the cadence and in the structure that data scientists can use. A lot of data scientists don't have to directly know Hadoop or Pig or everything, or Kinesis or whatever, to be able to use big data. That's usually given to data engineers. Who can manage data pipelines and give you the data in the format and give you certificate. So I don't think that should be, again, unless you are in this guy's position, you have to do everything, you probably not need to.
So for my company, my business started for 2 years, and we are trying to select the right data for right decision making. Like I want to do some analysis or some programming things, but I don't have the right data for that. So for that, I need to hire a data scientist or I need to hire a data engineer person. So I don't have the right data.
If you don't have the right data, your business, assuming that your business is generating all the data which is not being captured, it's an engineering problem to be able to tag it and store it, to be able to present it and maintain. Either you have database management, somebody who does database management. If you're dealing with big data, then again, like I said, you need somebody who understands data pipelines. If you think, no, we're not dealing with big data, I think it's fine. We have simple RDBs, just simple relational databases, and engineers should be able to do the job for you. And say, okay, you say, I'm capturing, all the data that I need to capture can be captured. So engineering team, please make sure that it's available and flowing, right? It becomes a data pipeline or like a big data problem if it has way too much data, like in billions or millions. If it isn't, then you're set.
I saw few job descriptions for different roles. in that, along with machine learning and deep learning, they also mentioned
Yeah, I think that's maybe people giving a laundry list. It's so easy, right? And maybe you should question, yeah, why don't you have data engineers to do this? Because I don't see anybody being able to build data pipelines and at the same time doing modeling. Very difficult. You'll be able to only do one at a time.
Also, hear a lot about this data mining and process mining. Part of the same thing.
So I don't understand process mining, but data mining is. Data mining.
Process mining is something like, what happens there is you end up doing a lot of end-to-end processes, involves a lot of transactions, and at the end of the day, we should be the system data, we should be able to model it back as to what process they actually need. But we want that the customer will be asking for to understand.
Understood. So it's like events that you're capturing. So yeah, that's part of literally like an OLTP system, which is called like an OLTP system. Like you're saying, every event is being captured, right? Is that what you're saying?
I want to drive that from the data, whatever I want to drive the process, draw the process back. So how do I do it?
So you mean logging? Logging of events?
Logging of events happen, data also gets created, but when you have all these database tables, that the data are like the objects. Research, all these data is actually related to each other.
Yeah.
And by reading the data, I think I should be kind of say that okay, this is the process.
Understood.
Process that I use.
Understood. So I mean like the possible flow, right? So there are tools to do that. I mean, you can obviously do it yourself. I write code to be able to do it. Somebody can write code to do it, but there are off-the-shelf tools which do exactly that, where they tell you, okay, if all of these events happened, I mean, like so many events happening, right? What is the flow, right? There are tools, off-the-shelf tools, like we use CleverTap in name, which tells you exactly all events. You are able to understand what flow people went through. If all of these events got triggered, how much time it took, where it stopped. So there are off-the-shelf tools which help you do this. Otherwise, it's slightly intensive, but you can just get somebody from the engineering team to be able to do it.
Actually, I have several questions to that. So do we need a lot of data? Because suppose a company which is new in the market, and
Yeah.
someone who is there for 50 years, so they will do better, or they are requiring basically something.
It depends, yeah. I mean, it depends on what problem you're trying to solve. For obviously machine learning, you need data. How do you train? So yeah, that is why there is, like I was mentioning earlier, you have to be able to graduate to that maturity level. Like you're saying, okay, we can do data science because look, we have so much data. Why should we be analyzing it in a rudimentary fashion? Why don't we build models around it? So you should be able to graduate to that maturity. If you're not, if you still have very little data, you think you can't train models with it because you're not there yet. And you should maybe just focus on deriving basic business intelligence and then say, okay, I've understood what's happening. Now I should be able to predict it or do it better. And I have enough data to be able to machine learn from it. Whereas, yeah, you're not there yet.
So you talked about type A and type B.
Yes.
So how does it differ? Does it differ in skill set?
It does. Type B does. I mean, I would say type B does need software engineering skills. You really can't do product AI or software AI, as we call it, without knowing software engineering. Because you're building it into the product. So either you're like what they call ML engineers who kind of have a very good hang of machine learning as well as our software engineers. So that's a great place to be. And because you need somebody who will ultimately code into the system. Type A is different. You don't need to know software engineering. It's just you running a model and being able to derive intelligence from it and make decisions which you can directly use without it being coded into your product. If you have an app, again, coming the same example, you say, okay, this is what you've been reading, so like YouTube recommendations is the example of type B. Somebody who wrote that algorithm coded into their code base, right? But if I decide, no, from what I feel, maybe on Wednesdays I get more calls and Mondays as a business I get less calls, right? So my prediction, this is how I'll cluster users who come on Mondays. So one-time thing, you're done and you can predict basis that you don't need to code it into a product. So that's type A. You don't need to be an engineer.
No, it is always necessary that it has to be two different people. Because
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, like type B can probably, if they have the business understanding, can obviously do type A. But to do type B, you need.
No, having both engineering as well as the domain as well as the functional knowledge. So you have to be a math science expert and a coding expert and a domain expert.
I mean, I would say expert, but you need to have expertise for the problem that you're solving. Like, I don't need to be maybe be great at business in general, but I have to have a very good understanding of the business problem at hand and have enough math background for that problem. Obviously, it's very difficult for somebody to be an expert across the board in general, like a general expert in math, a general expert in engineering, but you have to have a very good, you have to have enough math skill for that particular problem. That is needed, and it comes with experience.
And then statistics, when you talk about it's like what? It's like basic statistics or?
Yeah, I would say at least basic. At least
basic is what, like probability?
Yes, you need to have basic probability. You should understand comparison of populations. Yes, normal distributions, all of that. You should be able to understand really well. And again, I would say reading 2-3 pages of stats 101 may not cut it. There's a lot of intricacy there. But yeah, that's what I get.
Yeah, I mean, about normal distribution. I mean, you don't have to go into like transportation and science and that.
Not really, yeah, no. So again, you might need stats somewhere, you might need linear algebra somewhere else or understand maybe.
Sure. But
yeah.
General level.
But yeah, just I think a basic grounding is required. So like you said, different skills, these skills are needed, but different skills come in handy in different problems. If you read NLP problem, a natural language processing problem, it's a huge arm with us. Maybe you don't need stats, you just don't need stats. But you need to understand language structure. So you need enough grounding in. So the maths there is, you need to understand how to convert letters into math. That's the only math. So you only need vectors. If I don't know normal distribution, maybe I can still do NLP. Because I only need to understand vectors, it's okay if I don't understand stats. Right? So you should have basic stats, but then based on what type of data scientist you are, you need to be able to know enough. Again, it's very difficult. That's why I started by saying a data scientist at Healthime, was LinkedIn, Flipkart, Meta are doing very different jobs, maybe very different in skill sets, maybe very different in what they use every day. Very interesting.
But then the incorrect is that all these problems that we use from the algorithm into the AI part, but otherwise the problems we're trying to solve,
machine learning also means to an end now. The decision is taken, or you think you're fairly confident. It's another means to an end. You don't need to use machine learning for everything. Maybe a lot of things, just basic probability and stats will get you where you need to.
We have some, but then see even these programs that we are they already have the can build your model.
Yeah.
So how what are that also some sort of statistics we really need to learn because it's already slightly given to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where you differentiate somebody. Again, it adds to your maturity as a data scientist. I mean, I can use Python and maybe do something fairly complex in 2 hours, right? But I won't know the limitation of that thing. I'm not saying you should know that package. I won't know the limitation of that package. Where does it fail? Where does it not? You don't need to know stats really well for every type of problem. You don't always need to understand the package in depth. What is the code behind the package? Maybe not. All I'm trying to say is, for any problem, you should first be aware of what is the math that is needed and make sure you read that math. You know that math. That's it. This is not a blanket statement where you're saying, oh, dude, if you don't understand math to this level, you can't do this. No. Problem to problem, you have to continuously, again, it's all linked. You have to continuously re-educate yourself and say, okay, I don't understand statistics. If I don't understand statistics, I can't do this problem. Right? And then make sure you brush it up before you attempt that problem. But basic math and stats, I think, goes without saying. And I'm hoping a lot of engineers already know that. You just need to brush it up and before you start any problem, and then make sure that you learn the math that is needed to solve that problem. You don't want it to become like a language learner and saying, no, you need to do this.
Yeah, so before rolling out the new feature, you guys must be doing A/B testing.
Yeah.
So is that part of the data science team?
No, that's part of product.
But still, I see a lot of requirements for data scientists for A/B testing mentioned over there.
I don't understand how that would happen. Maybe I don't know the kind of data that we generate that needs a data scientist for it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't understand why you would use a data
And
scientist.
also, like, you guys more towards R or Python?
We use Python. Yeah. Again, it depends on what somebody is productionizing your code is. Since a lot of the app is written in Python, people who are productionizing it need even models to be written in Python, so it just works well for us. But a lot of people end up knowing both very well. There's a lot of things still that is better in R than in Python and vice versa.
When it comes to most of the moves that is like implement like data and computation, all of them are like put together and we into data. So what would be the main distinguishing factor between these, or what kind of similarities?
Computation, you mean distributed computing? What do you mean by
Yeah, computational sciences, something like cognitive computation, like data science. I mean,
it depends again. I mean, like, I don't know the content of those courses, so I won't be able to comment well. But they're all related. I mean, so many people who are into computing are going to data science, so it's just related that way. But it's not like it can just be disjoint. You can just go into data science and not have anything to do with computation or anything. Yeah. Any other questions?
So I have a couple of questions, and I think that will benefit the community, and I'm spelling it out here. So one thing that is asked fairly, on a frequent basis on our platform is, uh, you know, let's say I'm a complete noob, right, and I want to fashion my career in data science. So which are the courses that I can take online that can help me basically, kind of get a fair sense of what machine learning is, or what data science is, or what big data is. Let's just take it, let's say only machine learning, right? So are there any courses that you've taken personally that you actually highly recommend?
Yeah, sure. So I think the entire data science specialization on Coursera is very good, but I think the course that you will find people taking the most and it's actually very good is Andrew NG's course. Coursera. I think that's like the Bible and it's from there. Yeah, I think that's like kind of gives you a lot of leading points there. So I think that is the benchmark. True, which is good in a way. I think it's very conceptual course. So I think I would go with that.
So is that course?
I don't remember the name of the course. It's Andrew NG's course. Yeah.
So is that enough, Punika, or do you think that there are more courses that people can take to hone their skills further?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's very hard question to answer because
so I mean, I would just say, like, did you take any course beyond that course you have?
Never really. I mean, again, come from different schools of thought and where your personal situation is in life. If you're already working as a data scientist, there's a very good chance you'll have almost no time to take courses. And what you will end up doing is say, okay, I've taken a basic course to understand what I need to know or what I don't know. Important also to not to know what you don't know, right? Sometimes you don't even know what you don't know. That's what it is. That's what the problem with a fast-growing field is. Right? You just don't know what is out there, and you think that, I know everything. And you know that no, that's not true, by the way. So it's, I think, good to take a basic course that kind of covers everything, and then best thing to happen to you, you're actually doing a real problem, and then looking up what you need to look up, because that is what eventually every problem will go down as. You will end up continuously referring. I've seen fairly seasoned data scientists also continuously refer to stuff when they're solving a problem. You just never know everything. So instead of wasting or investing too much time trying to do a lot of courses, I would suggest do one or two basic ones and just start on problem and then solve along the way.
So another question that is asked very frequently, again, I'm studying it for the benefit of the community, is, lack of data is a chicken and egg problem. Now, if I sit on a ton of data, I can actually build a lot of models. But there are, startups that want to leverage ML and AI to kind of disrupt the space, but they don't sit on a ton of data. So how do you, kind of when you start out, and this could be either as a company or even as an individual, where do I get that ton of data to even test out the models that I'm thinking would work?
Yeah, so I think I answered part of the question initially that once you have to be mature as a company to be on that kind of data. And also it depends on the company. A lot of companies are AI first companies where they're saying that our product is the AI product. If that is taken out, if AI is taken out of a company ceases to exist. So if you're an AI first company, then you're in trouble. If you're starting, because you have nothing to start with.
Yes.
But if you're not an AI first company, where you're saying the AI or your ML is a byproduct of your business model, or you're using it to enhance business, that means you're probably sitting on a ton of data, or you will. So you have to wait to generate data.
In that case, a follow-up thing would be that you can only do ML and AI properly if you're in a mature company. If you're an AI first company, then I mean that model itself will not work.
Yeah, and there are plenty of examples for that. I mean, I've seen companies who have the algorithm in place, who have some bit of data that they've seeded into the algorithm and work really well, fail and just not get off the ground as much as they could have if they had data, because they're AI first. So, I mean, you kind of create it for yourself if you decide to develop an AI company without any base data.
Which means that AI can at best only be an enabler.
Yeah, it can be an enabler. I mean, it's definitely an enhancement, or you can actually even branch out into something which is highly AI focused, provided you're sitting with base data. Otherwise, or find a way to generate it really quickly, right? But you have to be able to generate it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to be able to do it. Again, a lot of companies do get over enamored by doing AI and ML because they need to look up, come across as mature and fancy. And don't have business basics in place, which by the way is really tough on its own. So if that company can do that, then again, I don't think that's a good thing. Anything else?
You mentioned as a main bias for people who are already, let's say, doing managing program and they would like to fit that. Is that very large?
Inherent bias against, not for.
Okay.
Bias against. Yeah, because like I would say, if you're coming with a lot of experience, you're probably sitting at a pay grade that a lot of companies can maybe not afford, or will probably find somebody more talented or more experienced at a lower pay scale when it comes to data science. Because a lot of people, they come out of college, invest those 1 or 2 years in really mastering the subject, and if you're sitting at like a 5-6 year or more work ex, you probably at a pay scale where they don't want to think it's just not be the bang for the buck. Really. So you have to really, you should be able to highlight what else you bring to the table, whether it is within your problem solving or business understanding, or if you've done the grunt work, you can, like I said, building that profile online in terms of what you've contributed to the community or any projects that you might have done on Kaggle is really important. You should be able to promote yourself really well, or be okay with starting out at a slightly junior level. It's like with any career shift. If it's a career shift, you have to be able to make that.
Could you repeat the last thing you said? Projects of
Kaggle, K-A-G-L-E.
When you solve Kaggle problems, how did you make it?
Me?
Yeah.
So I was like in this guy's position, but I was the only analyst, and it kind of just came on my head. So,
Apart from Kaggle, what are the other?
Git, I think contributing to on Git makes a lot of difference. I'm sure there are others out there, but since these are more trustworthy and it's very easy to benchmark, I think you should use these.
If, actually, I have a question that if, you said that you have taken that course of Kaggle, and then jumping on Kaggle is actually still challenging.
Yeah.
Because you need to still learn many things in order to solve the problems inside that, and like the Python, the inside of Python much more. So how you how did you learn all those things? Did you again take another course for that, or did you?
I mean, you can take courses or read. Like I said, there's no shortcut to becoming really good. Either you start, again, it depends. At first, you want to learn and then join. There's just no real straightforward way. Either you invest a lot of time learning and then take the leap of joining somewhere as a junior data scientist, or you're already learning, kind of working on a team that gives you that leeway or gives you that opportunity to work on small data science projects, and you show, proficiency there. That's the only way. So, I mean, Kaggle is tough. Obviously, it is difficult. So you maybe do the reading that you need to be able to crack Kaggle. That is why Kaggle is used as a benchmark. It is tough. It is tough, guys. I mean, I don't it just sounds, there is a reason why it is such a hot topic, because it is tough also. You have to put in that those hours, and it's just not happening. Just not happening. That's why I'm saying, if you think you can't self-learn, join a team that will help you do this in parallel or give you small opportunities to learn on the job. You have to know yourself. If you think, no, I can put in the time. Give me 1 year and I'll learn or read everything that there is needed. Great. That works for you, great. There's people who do that and it works for them. If you think, no, I'm not the self-motivated type. Give me a problem, throw a problem at me, and only then I'll be able to do it. Go for that. But I don't think there's a third way to do this. Yeah.
Yes, I had one more question. When you said that type A, type B about data, while hiring itself or while labeling the job, is it important to distinguish those as two different jobs?
No. It's not. I mean, it just organically happens. You know what you can do, and if you are working in a team, certain projects will come to certain people for a reason, right? Or there's no job that is labeled as type A, type B, because a lot of times, like I said, if you are one of the few or the 2, 3 data scientists in a company, there's a very good chance nobody else in the company knows what you can do, right? So you will have to go and tell them, by the way, I know I can program and I know machine learning. I can help you solve this better, right? There's a very good chance you'll have to be able to evangelize that you're trying to do this. Very good chance. If you're working in a big company who understand and already have a set up data science team, they know where you fit in. Whether if they have type A problems and you're a type A type person, you will fit into that role, or maybe go into type B if you want to, or vice versa. No, I didn't move to data science. It was just this happened. I was an analyst, and I was the only analyst on the team. And then we realized that since we were generating way too much data, it was just silly we able to analyze it in the way that we were analyzing it. And it just kind of organically happened that we started doing something different and more sophisticated with our data. So you learn on the job, and you hire and you build the right thing. So initially you prove that no, if we do it this way, it will read results. Once you start proving it, you find ways to either develop that proficiency yourself, that no, I'll read and do this. First in a small way, then in a better way. Every data science project is no real logical end to end data science project. You keep getting better, right? Till you think, no, it's just hit its max, and any more investment of time and energy will just not help you. So you say, okay, you start doing it in a small way, and then you say, okay, it's better. This leading results, let me get more people on board. Work. And again, it will work differently for different people. Either you're like an accidental data scientist, or you try and become one. If you try and become one, you have to put in the work, or you'll be lucky enough to be given that opportunity and to lead from. That's it.
I have few of my friends who have already spent 5 or 6 years into software engineering and then left the company and did some certification. Right now, they are facing difficulty getting into a data science job, even though they have certification.
Did they tell you why?
Huh?
Did they tell you why?
No. I mean, what kind of approach?
So again, same thing. I mean, if you're in mid-career kind of place, or whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8 mark, it's difficult because there's some skill that you have. There are the guy who has another skill. There's a third guy who has all the skills.
So what's the
So how do you
solution?
compete? Again, solution is the same. Either you say, okay, fine, don't hire me as a data scientist. Hire me as an engineer. I do engineering well, right? And then while you're on the job, start doing ML, right? And go and show. I mean, I don't know. Again, in startups, that's how it works. You get hired for what you know. Always startups will hire you for what you know. Unless you are, like the really passionate types or the early team. They probably hire you for what you know. And then you start doing things that you think you want to go get into and show metal there. And they'll probably allow you to do that also. At least startups will definitely never hire you for something that you might do at some point of time. You probably have no skill for. So they'll never hire you as a data scientist if you've just never done data science. Why won't they go and hire somebody who's already done it? They don't have the time and the patience or the money to do that, right? So the best way to do this, the sneakiest way to do this is to get hired for what you know and then start doing something else in parallel to show that you can do that as well. And then if the opportunity presents, they will move you. If you show impact, there's no company will not move you.
They are ready to take a then obviously you can for internship. in data
Yeah, or apply for
science.
internship. Yeah. So, to do some I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, data science projects usually last a long time. I don't know if people will hire you as a data scientist. It will probably be at least 6 months. Or they will not do anything. 2 months. 2 months mein to you'll understand the data and start figuring it out and it will be done. They'll say what? Nothing happened.
Process of application for internship is the same as the normal sales job.
Depends company to company. You have to control that.
Same, I actually seen for it. They're asking for all the must do tensor, you must do keras, you must do Hadoop. I don't know why they are like.
Again, so usually again.
I mean,
It depends company to company. Yeah, a lot of companies will just give you a lot. They say you should know all this. Other companies will say, we don't have this problem to solve, and maybe you can guide the interviewer or the interview that way. Where you say, tell me the kind of problems I have experienced with these things. You use it to why do you use it to right? And so yeah, it depends on you. You have to find the right company. If there are companies which want you to do most, maybe you don't want to be there, right? Yeah, maybe you don't want to be there.
So another question that comes up in our community discussions, must have seen is, kind of taking informal courses versus getting a proper certification. As far as cracking a good job is concerned, right? And I'm being maybe a little shallow here, but that's how those questions are. As far as cracking a good job is concerned, do you think that proper certifications matter, or if I'm a self-trained, self-learned data scientist, as long as I know my shit, I'll be respected and I will be hired? Have you seen a difference, or you've hired out yourself for your data science team, I presume?
Yeah.
So, I mean, from your experience, I mean, how would you basically rate or view a person with a proper certification in this data science vis-a-vis someone who's self-learned or self-taught?
So there's only three possibilities here. One is you have no experience, you have no certification, but you've probably done some learning, right? There's no way to really quantify it with any. There's no verifiability over there, right? The other is you have a lot of experience, but you have no certification. Or the other is you have no experience, you may or may not have learned or whatever, but you have a certification. The last two, when you have certification or job experience, will get your foot in the door, and the interview will handle the rest of it. So I would put both at parity, where I would say, okay, you've done certification, maybe you know your shit, or somebody who's not done certification may but have experienced something, maybe this guy knows it, and the interview will say it all. Anything else?
Cool. So I presume we've actually gone live with this talk, so it was being streamed live